Imagine yourself 2.6 million years ago. You're a caveman-like hominid living in present-day Ethiopia. You've realized that you and your family get a little cold at night when the sun goes down. You've also noticed that the locals are being eaten by vicious predators. You need a place to live and a way to protect yourself, but you have no Home Depot to go to for help. So, how do you solve this problem? Choosing from the available options is not really a possibility because you have none. There's no Google, no store, no book to help you out. You actually have to look around yourself and make something. At this time in human history, creativity was born. Now, creativity isn't a gift only some of us have. Creativity is a trait that's inside all of us. It's just expressed a little bit differently. See it more as like a muscle, where you have to exercise it every day to realize your full creative potential. So all of us are creative, just like your caveman hominid is in this scenario. Something you also have to understand about creativity is that it isn't like a light bulb. Ideas don't just come to you. They're actually like networks, with hundreds and millions of little neuron connections. The essence of creativity is connection. And so what we find really creative out there in the world are ideas and connections that we just had never thought of before. So let's go back to this scenario. You have to build a shelter and you have to protect your family. You realize now that you're creative and that you can't just come up with ideas. So you decide to go educate yourself. So looking at the animals in the local vicinity, you find that they're building their shelters using their teeth, their claws, their beaks, sharp tools. So, combining seemingly unrelated elements, you develop an axe, the first human-made hand tool. And humans have been obsessed with tools ever since. We developed the hammer and the nail and the saw, and the wheel, well, that really set things in motion. Now we have cars and robots and rockets. We have loved making tools because it provides so much ease in our lives. Building homes and transporting goods has been so much easier because we have tools. We have enjoyed making the world work for us, but we've also developed tools to help us understand how the world works. A thin-nosed man in 17th century England observed an object falling. He didn't wonder why it fell, he wondered how it fell. Through his little experiments, he noticed that an object increased its speed every split second. So he went to the available books on physics and mathematics to help him understand what was happening, and he realized that no one could. There were no books, no one had written anything on the subject. That's when 25-year-old Isaac Newton decided to invent a new kind of math, calculus. Now, calculus didn't come to him out of thin air. It wasn't a light bulb moment. It came through that network of hundreds of thousands of little neuron connections, built up from what he already knew about math and the information he was receiving from his experiments. And that's how he built calculus. Isaac Newton's discoveries in physics and mathematics have changed the world. And you can thank him for the satellites in space that keep your mobile phone running on time. Isaac Newton wouldn't have been able to come up with all the ideas that he had if he saw mathematics as just some abstract, hard thing that he had to learn to pass a test. He saw it more as a tool, that if he mastered well enough, he could not only make the world work, but he could understand how it works. There's a great saying that goes like this: if all you have is a hammer, the world is a nail. We have seen how the worst kind of people see the world as a nail, and all they have is a hammer, and so they just pound the world to pieces, causing more problems than good. Don't be that person, limiting yourself by what you already know. If Isaac Newton did that, we wouldn't have Wi-Fi. If the cavemen did it, we wouldn't even be here. So to make a positive change in the world, you have to have tools. And one of them should be mathematics. I study creativity and innovation. I look at young people and old people and try to help them solve problems like Isaac Newton and the caveman. And what we're finding is that people get locked into a certain way of thinking. So our research shows that just between kindergarten and second grade, there is a 74% drop in creativity and critical thinking skills. Every class should be an opportunity for us to adopt a new way of thinking and incorporate that new way, that new tool into our lives. but it seems even from a young age we get too content in just using a hammer. You are as smart as you work hard to be. Intelligence isn't what you know at any given time. Intelligence is how well you apply what you have learned. You don't want your doctor to forget what he learned in medical school about surgery just before he's about to perform a surgery on you. Why should we think we're exceptions to this kind of idea when we go to math class or to science class or to English class and think, I only need to learn this for the test? We should take every opportunity to learn a new tool, to learn a new way of thinking, so that we can arm ourselves with all kinds of tools, so that we can not only go out there and change somebody's life, but that we can also go out there and change the world.